Joining us on the Hobson and Hobson Newsmaker line, fresh off his first Major League start a couple of nights ago, Spencer Strider of the Braves joining us on the Fan 680 and 93.7 FM. Spencer, appreciate the time. How you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing well. Still morning over here, so we're firing it up. But yeah, good to be here.
When was the last time you actually knew what time you were going to throw your first pitch in a baseball game?
It was spring training, if you count those. Yeah. So I mean, it was nice to know when I was coming in and have some more focused preparation, and yeah, it was cool.
And you were very fired up. I know that you wanted to go after that ball in the first inning that Riley fielded. You wanted to catch a couple of pop-ups, but that comes with the territory, right? I mean, you're out there and you want to compete, as you said.
Yeah, that's kind of just how I was brought up in the game. You know, I mean, just because you're a pitcher, you're a ninth fielder. You know, you're not out there just taking up space, and so. Yeah, if I can make some plays for myself and take some pressure off the defense, then that's what I'll try to do. So hopefully I don't get in anybody's way moving forward. But yeah, if there's a play to be made, I'm not afraid to go do it.
Hey Spencer, it's Kelly Kroll. Listen, I know you were really looking forward to and fired up about that first start, and when you finished it, you had mentioned something about trying to manage your energy and not come into it with kind of your typical mindset of like relief. How did you do that exactly? We've talked about this, you and I, a couple times, and I'm just curious, like how that process worked for you when you were out there in that moment.
Yeah, so I document just about everything I do pre and post game. Something I started during TJ Rehab. Mm-hmm. Kind of my form of journaling, and so I have several notebooks that contain all my pre and post game thoughts and actions. And I create a schedule pre-game for my starts, and especially last year that was helpful as I got over 50, 60 innings for the first time in my life in Double-A, and was starting to feel some fatigue mid-season, and had to sort of condense my warm-up, conserve energy, learn how to prepare myself with a little bit less so I could keep up the pace for a whole season. And so, just pulled out the notebook and went back, looked at some notes, jotted down what I wanted to do pregame, what I thought would be appropriate based on some previous starts like I made in spring training or last year. And so, yeah, I was just kind of falling into that template that I know has worked before. And so, yeah, it wasn't super hard. Just the only thing I really had to maintain a focus on subjectively was, playing catch, long tossing, and in the bullpen, just not first throw, airing it out, because when you get the call down in the bullpen coming out of, late game, you really don't have time to ease into it and kind of just pick up the ball and rip. So I definitely didn't want to do that. But.
Hey, Spencer, what was your rehab story? Unfortunately, speaking of guys like Johnny Venters and other guys, when you realize I'm still on a team, but I'm kind of out of sight, out of mind. That is a lonely world. Was that in part why the journaling might have worked for you, because you needed a release that maybe sometimes you don't get when you're not around as many players as you are when things are going well?
Yeah, I mean, journaling for me, it's not so much of a like a diary or like what am I thinking or how am I feeling. It's a little more objective than that. Like I said, a lot of scheduling and like I would call last year like science experiments. Like I would, when I was trying to condense my warm up and things like that, I would plan out a routine based on time pretty specifically and try to get it condensed but still hit the things I needed to hit, and then kind of track the progress of how I felt during the game and what results it led to. So, but yeah, I mean, in TJ it was tough. In college, you kind of get pushed to the back burner for sure. They can only have so many guys on the roster, only so many guys travel, only so many guys in uniform. You don't get the gear, you don't get the attention. And, fortunately I was a sophomore and I was a part of a really good class. And so I was still a leader on the team, and I had great friends and great teammates, and I was a part of it. They made sure to include me. But, yeah, there's a lot of solitary moments. And I think, you use that opportunity to just focus on yourself and get better and view the game from a different perspective that you can't get when you're playing day to day.
Spencer Strider with us on the Hobson and Hobson Newsmaker line. At that point, does any doubt creep in, because you do get drafted coming out of high school, albeit in the 35th round by the Indians, and then you blow out your arm, have to have that surgery? Do you think at any point in time that you should have taken advantage of that situation? It worked out for you, fortunately, though.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, ever since I was a little kid, I mean, my trajectory for myself has always been to make it to the big leagues and, be a contributing pitcher on a team. And I think you can't get too caught up in the journey, all the details of it. The destination is the big leagues, and so it becomes a little stubborn of you if you just let changes in the direction, alter your aspirations. And so, there was a moment where it seemed like it was a really big obstacle, but one of the things that was really helpful for me and that has carried me through a lot of things is the sports psychologist at Clemson, Corey Schaefer, told me that TJ is going to be an opportunity for me to get better, not a reason I won't get better or a reason I won't do something. And so if I look at it as an opportunity to improve, then it's gonna be an opportunity. I'm going to improve as a result of it. And so, I think you just use it, and it's like you're taking a different road to the same place you're going to. It's just, and as a result, you learn new things, you get better because of it. And so you can't let it deter you or discourage you too much.
How old were you when you realized your arm was bigger than most kids your age? And I don't even know if this is a real thing. I've heard stories where parents go, well, that kid can't pitch against my kid because what's happening here? He throws too hard. I don't even know if that's a real thing or not. But at what age did somebody point out, did you realize that perhaps you brought it a little bit better than others?
I don't know that there was really an age. I think I always had a better arm, or one of the better arms on the teams I played for. But I fought with command issues for sure, and I still have those days. But once I got to high school and I started to have some resources available to me, like lifting and more information on routines and stretching for preparation, it really took off for me, and it seemed like early on in high school that pitching was probably going to be my best shot at playing the game a long time. So, at that point, velocity started to kick up, and I certainly separated myself.
Yeah, speaking of taking off, when did you decide to ultimately grow the mustache, and are you surprised it's taken off as far as the fan base is concerned as much as it has?
It was something we did in high school. We would try and grow out facial hair, dye our hair whenever we were in the playoffs, and I was the only one that could even claim to have grown anything on their face at an early age. And so, I don't know. It's just like the legends of the game to me are like, Raleigh Fingers, Catfish Hunter, some of these guys that had big mustaches. It just feels very baseball-y to me. If people find it interesting, that's cool. I also look like I'm 7 years old without any facial hair, so it's good that way. So I look like I fit in a little bit.
I just sat up in my seat and so excited that you know who Raleigh Fingers is. The fact that
Hunter is 23.
Yeah, the fact
knows his
that
history.
You know who these guys are is just, it's so comforting.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about baseball is I feel like more so than any other sport, it honors its history. It's all relevant, and there's a lot to be gained from looking backwards. And statistically, baseball I think is more interesting than any other sport. And so those former names are always relevant, and you can always look back and see where the game's come from.
Spencer, let me be the first to say that if you did write a diary, I would read it. Like, I think a lot of people would really enjoy the diary of Spencer Strider and anything you wanted to put in it. But listen, piggybacking the question on the fans and the stash, and I know you don't live under a rock. I know you could be digging yourself right now if you wanted to be, as much as the fan base has rallied around and enjoyed watching you pitch out there. But when did you figure out balancing the confidence with staying grounded?
I think you have to have like an ambitious realism or a patient ambition. That's kind of how I will phrase it to myself. When things don't, like the game the other day. There's a lot of good in that game, but it's a tough game to be proud of because we didn't get the win, and so that's really the ultimate goal. However you get there, but things can't always work out. They can't always be perfect. That's a mindset I had to really get away from. Is I expected to go out and strike out every batter on 3 pitches and, throw a complete game with 81 pitches and 27 strikeouts. That was my vision of success. And so I'll be that possible. Technically, it's very unlikely. And when you set that standard for yourself, you're always going to come up disappointed. And so I think, baseball is, like I said, statistically, it's very interesting. And over the long run, everything regresses to the mean. And so you have to be aware of some of the probabilities and, the likelihood of certain things, and keep that in mind when you're evaluating yourself, and not put too much pressure sometimes. And, sometimes it just doesn't work out. But at the end of the day, you got to have a good grasp on what you can control and maintain your focus on those things, and use that as a method for evaluating yourself rather than just pure objective analyzation of results.
How much do you enjoy when you know it's going to be multiple innings? If it goes well, the setup. I get 2 times. If it goes well, I might get 3 times at a guy, where the changeup now comes out. The era of the 1-inning pitcher, you're not setting anybody up. I just got to get them out. How much do you enjoy this version of the game?
You mean starting as opposed to relieving?
Yeah,
or?
multiple times where you get a chance to maybe set a guy up.
More strategy.
You get to play the game a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the variation is exciting. Every time you go out, you're trying to get the same thing done, but it's going to be a completely different way of getting there. And so some days you have the changeup, some days you have the slider, some days you have the command, some days you have the stuff. Like, it's just, you never really know. But at the end of the day, you got to trust yourself and go get the results, go get it done, however that looks. And I'm fine to bounce around. I mean, I just want to contribute. I want to play, and I want to win. So, right now it's starting with what the team needs. That's what they think is best for me to do. Then that's where I'll put all my energy. But if coming out of the pen in whatever capacity that is what the team needs, then I'm excited to do that. And however you contribute, however you can compete, for me, it's all a great opportunity. It's all exciting. It's all what I'm here to do.
All right, Spencer, listen, we appreciate the time, and hopefully you continue to trend in the right direction. The fans love watching you pitch. So, by the way, before we let you go, let me end it with a really stupid question. We were watching you pitch in Texas, I believe, earlier in the season. My wife and I were having dinner, and she looked up and she said, man, he has big feet. You know what they say, big feet, big fastball. So let me ask you this. Is it trick photography, or are your feet really that big?
I think those cleats I was wearing, combined with some tailoring miscommunication on the pants, may have led to a visual anomaly. But I do have larger feet, I guess. I mean, I'm a size 13, so I'm only 5'11", so there's not a strong correlation there. I was supposed to be 6'4". I've got several doctors I plan to sue for that prediction.
Did you ask, by the way? Did you really ask, when am I going to hit when's my next growth spurt? Like, were you one of those guys who sort of was concerned with that?
Not really. I had size 13 feet in the 8th grade, and I was only 140 pounds. So I looked like a moron and felt like one as well. So I was really hoping someday I would grow into it, and it never really came.
What did you call the pants thing? What was that? A tailoring what?
I don't know. What did I say?
Tailoring faux pas?
A miscommunication?
Yeah.
All right, well, listen, I'm glad we got to the bottom of that, and I'm sure that you're really glad that you had a chance to answer that question. Spencer Strider, we'll see you when you get back to town. And again, thanks for coming on today. Best of luck to the team this afternoon.
Yep, thanks very much. Thanks for having me.
You got it. Spencer Strider with us on the Hobson and Hobson Newsmaker line. So the feet are big.
Yeah.
Best pirouette off the mound in the game.
Nice leverage, pushing off.
Yeah.
Probably helps that fastball. Like I said, you thought I was joking. Big feet, big fastball.
Yeah. What do they use?
I don't think he knew exactly where you were going with it yet. Yeah. I think he was just going to wait to see when you'd stop with that one.
I don't blame him.
So what is?
I never know where I'm going to stop.
Isn't it a growth plate thing? Like, isn't there the doctors that come in and say, "Oh, you're going to be 6'2"?
Yeah.
Well, you're going to. Isn't it growth plate stuff? Like, don't they just guess?
Yeah,
Aren't
and
there
I think
signs?
something to do with the genes too on both sides. They're calculating in your right.
He used the word moron, by the way, and he used it correctly as well, which is Raleigh
He's a
Fingers,
really
catfish hunter,
smart
and he
guy.
used the word moron.
And he's self-effacing, so have to appreciate
in a
it.
sense.